Hello, I'm Dr. James Soderbeer, and I'm with the Neuro-Metabolic Institute of Atlanta, and today we're going to be talking about problems with blood sugar, dysglycemia, and how it creates problems in your body, not only with just your blood sugar and diabetes, but with fibromyalgia, vertigo, sciatica, chronic fatigue syndrome, insomnia, digestive problems, any number of things. So we're going to deal with the blood sugar issue and the problems that it creates, and I'm going to tell you how it leads into all the other problems that we can actually treat here at the Institute. Dysglycemia is basically when your blood sugar is too high or it's too low. So if your blood sugar is high, that's hyperglycemia. If your blood sugar is low, it's hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia is very common. If you're hypoglycemic, you have in the morning when you wake up, you're grumpy, you're irritable, you have mood swings. If you have hyperglycemia or you're insulin resistant, then that's the kind of person that eats a meal and they feel sleepy after a meal. They want to lay down and take a nap even after a meal just because their body can't deal with all the sugar that's floating around in the bloodstream. So we'll go into hypoglycemia and how that works first. Hypoglycemia is when you get up in the morning, you don't have anything in your stomach, and you decide to have a cup of coffee to wake up and give you a little bit of energy. So that spikes your blood sugar up a little bit because it stimulates your adrenal glands. Your adrenal glands will make your blood sugar go up, and temporarily, until lunchtime comes around, and then you feel hungry, and instead of having a good protein diet, good diet with vegetables and protein and fats in your diet, you instead opt and you have a snack bar or a donut or something like that for lunch or dinner, and that will cause your blood sugar to go way up, and then it drops back down because it causes an insulin surge. The insulin pushes all the blood sugar into your cells. And when the blood sugar goes into your cells and it's out of your bloodstream again, then your blood sugar goes back down, hypoglycemia. Well, when that happens, your adrenal glands kick in again, just like they did with the cup of coffee, and they try to raise your blood sugar back up because your brain can't go without sugar. Your brain needs oxygen and glucose for energy, and when the glucose gets low, it becomes an emergency in your body. Your adrenal glands will kick in and they'll try to raise your blood sugar up any way they can. Year after year after year of doing this and eating like this and having a diet like a lot of Americans do causes us to become insulin resistant. Now, because our cells are so overwhelmed with the insulin surges that are going on all the time, insulin spikes all day long, after a while they become resistant to the insulin. So with insulin resistance, means you have all this blood sugar floating around, all this sugar floating in your bloodstream, but it can't get into the cells. So what happens is your body takes all that extra sugar and it stores it into as triglycerides and turns it into fat. So a lot of people that have insulin resistance actually have the fat belly, and no matter what they eat turns to fat. So that is another thing, along with the tiredness after meals. Eat a meal and feel like you need to lay down somewhere, that's the insulin resistance. So these are two ends of the spectrum. You've got hypoglycemia on one end and insulin resistance on the other. One of the ways to test to see if you have insulin resistance is to eat a meal. And how much carbohydrate can you eat, like rice or pasta or grains? How much can you eat without getting sleepy? When you hit that point that, wow, I feel like I need to take a nap, that's the point that you become insulin resistant. If you eat a meal and you feel like you have to lay down, you are insulin resistant. So to give yourself a little test, eat a little bit, and if you feel okay with that, eat a little bit more of the starch, eat a little bit more until you start to feel tired. And then you can naturally gauge, without having to take your blood sugar every day, if you're not a diabetic, you can naturally gauge how much carbohydrate you can handle. Now what we recommend is that you have a diet that in the morning for breakfast you want to have some proteins for breakfast. Get up and have something. Don't wake up in the morning on an empty stomach and go grab a cup of coffee and wait until lunch to eat. Get some protein in the morning, a little bit of meat, a little fish, a little chicken, a little egg maybe. You want a little bit of protein to keep your blood sugar up and level off and stay away from the carbohydrates and the sugary drinks and snacks in the morning and the donuts. That's it.